everybody, and welcome back to Mysteries of the Maw for episode 2. Hope you're having a lovely day, and I'm sorry. So we are going to pick up. We are going to pick up as it is now in the middle of the night, as you are all on the airship making your way to the Maw. Would have everybody gone to sleep, or would have some of you stayed up and tried to work? Work on something, investigate anything?
Mal would have stayed up and started going through all those personnel files.
Got it. Okay. Is there any, I know the answer to this question, but I want you to answer this question. Is there anything in particular you are looking for?
He's looking for a particular person's file.
You do find the file of that particular person, and the status on that file says missing.
Okay. What other information can I garner from it? Can I get information regarding their specific role, activity logs, anything of the such?
Yes. So you glean that this person, and we're going to continue to say this person to torture everybody else. This person was a mechanic at the research station. They were there essentially as a handyman to make sure that basically the systems that powered the heat and powered the station were operational. They were essentially there as part of the maintenance team.
Sure.
That they were slotted to return with the shift change that disappeared.
Can I use a move?
Yes, of course you can.
I want to use Oops. I think that's what it's called. If I want to stumble across something important, tell the keeper, I'm assuming is you, and you will find something important and useful, although not necessarily related to your immediate problems.
Okay. Do you have to roll for it?
No, it doesn't tell me to.
Let me take a look-see at Oops.
Yeah.
Oops. So yes, roll plus weird.
Okay. Fuck, the one thing. Fuck yeah, let's go, dude. 11.
11.
-1.
Okay. So what I'll say is, so you spend a lot of time studying these files, and your eyes begin to hurt, from staring at, all of these personnel files and boring a hole in the word missing on the status. And so you end up kind of going over to the window of your room, just kind of peeking out. And the night, it's, pitch black now, amongst the clouds, amongst the stars. And you see the moon is shining down, illuminating the tops of the clouds where the airship is kind of soaring through. And as you're just kind of glancing out the window, you see a dark shape pierce the clouds and go back under the clouds.
Can I gauge the distance, from us?
So what you gauge is the distance from the ship is a bit of a ways away. But what makes your stomach kind of hit the floor is because it was so far away, but it was still so visible, means it's big.
Massive.
Means it's big. Whatever it was.
I think Mal, with it being so late at night, his eyes tired and bleary from staring at all the personnel files and that one in particular, trying to make sense of everything. I think eventually he just passes out at the desk in his quarters. All the papers and everything scattered everywhere, minus that one file clutched in his hand.
Got it. Anyone else doing anything in the evening? Yes. Els.
I think Els would be holding and or investigating the sample she has, because she does have a theory about it. And last we left off, you mentioned that it was growing.
Yes.
Would this be a large enough difference for me to know, or do I have to roll for it?
I'm going to say it's fairly obvious. As you pull up the sample out of your bag, you see it has expanded from just kind of being a little drop in a little kind of bit of liquid to, it's now kind of pooled to like the whole bottom of the basically the box. So instead of it just being like a little dollop in the middle, it's now covering the entire bottom of the box.
Okay, I think at this point, Els is going to get her recorder out and make a recording. And however far the distance is from the maw, or from the keep to where we are now, she's going to mark the amount of feet and the difference in size she sees. And as we get closer, she's going to see how it multiplies and grows.
Okay. Give me an investigate a mystery, please.
Mystery. That is plus sharp. 6.
6. So not, you don't necessarily mark experience for this one, but what I'll give you, like it won't be too detailed, is it just feels heavier than it did before.
And she's going to like write that down. She's going to call over. It's growing.
What?
Oh, fuck, we're sleeping. Sorry.
No, it's fine. What are you talking about?
It's growing. We're getting closer to the maw, and it's growing.
Branwen takes a look at the sample. Is it writhing in its case, or is it still?
So go ahead and give me investigate mystery.
Okay. Yay! I like this. Too bad I still can't do basic math. All right, cool. That is a 9.
So what I'll give you, it is not doing what it was doing before, where like somebody would touch it and it would kind of lunge at it.
Okay.
What you see now is it spread itself along the bottom of the glass case, and it hasn't necessarily grown, but you can see the bottom of the case, because there's essentially, it's like a box inside of a box almost. This containment, you see the bottom of that bit is beginning to bow just a little bit, as it looks like it's attempting to apply pressure down.
Els, is there anything else in your lab that would be a better containment unit for this sample?
Make one. And then I would like to use my lore library to try and give myself a +1 to investigate a mystery in order to find materials in my lab to create a thicker, larger container.
Perfect. Roll for it.
Great.
Hit me with it.
So she pulls out like sticky notes, like one of those ones that connect to each other, and she's just kind of reading them. Yeah, they're portable notes.
Portable lower level.
Yes. Okay. Already for that, it's +2. That's a 12.
Damn. So what I'll say is you've probably done some research now since you found out what the hell this thing is. You know that the collective did not respond well to fire, did not respond well to heat, did not respond well to anything of the radiant or holy nature. And typically under any sort of heat, like if it's heat is being put upon it, it becomes weaker. So you're able to kind of discern that you'll be able to make almost like a little bit of a hot box for this, that is going to kind of keep it contained.
I might not be able to create a new container, but I have a hot plate. If I put this on it, it will weaken it.
Is that like one of the things that you put your mug on to keep it warm?
A scientific version of it, yes.
Okay. This is a temporary solution. Do we have any resources to make this bigger?
I do have a polymer glass that is infused with radiant energy. It'll take me time to be able to build a box, though.
Okay.
So then she takes out like the little coffee hot plate, puts it on there.
Watch it.
And turns it on.
When you turn it on, it goes back into the little dollop. as it's like it's now trying to climb the cage to get, or the box to get away from the heat.
So then she's going to kind of like make notes on that.
Oh, box radiant energy.
So then she's going to skitter out of the room, but backwards. Her butt's going to be first through the doggy door. She just kind of looks at it. And then she like looks to you, Branwen. And she like points her fingers to her eyes, you, and then the thing. And she skitters out. And she's going to go probably to where Mal's is now like exhaustedly like sleeping on the desk to try and
I think Mal's was in his room.
Oh, okay.
Because the box was delivered to his room. But you can head to the laboratory if that's where you're going.
Absolutely, yes.
So you get to the center of the ship where the laboratory is housed, and it is a playground. Because you requested some things, but like because of the bank's money, this is such a nice laboratory, if you will. It has every machine, type of beaker, everything you could possibly want in this lab is here for you.
Thank you, money man.
And she's just going to skitter around and look for that polymer glass that's infused with radiant energy.
Yes. So you find it, and it was a gift, essentially, in dealings with, possibly if there's anything undead, anything like that. That's why this was kind of supplied on board. So you do have this polymer glass that you see that is marked with basically sigils that are like holy symbols to help, infuse it with radiant energy.
I think as she's creating, you get like this view outside the laboratory of just a blowtorch and the lights in the lab going as she like creates this box. And that's what she does for I don't know how long it would be.
Probably takes you about an hour to like construct it well and not mess up the holy sigils on it.
Yeah, this would be my workshop feat in my haven. So it's up to the keeper to determine how long it would be.
I'd say it takes you about an hour to like do it well and do it to the point where that little thing will not break out of it. And also that you didn't like damage any of the holy symbols that make the polymer radiant.
Fantastic. Okay, so then I have it, and I'm guessing it's like slightly larger than the container that I have.
Yeah. It's like, it's going from the container you had was like, this big to like you've now got a decent sized box.
This will take up a lot of space in my rucksack. I have a lot of journals I'll need to throw away. Which to keep.
So then I'm going to try to skitter back, but now that I have this thing, I'm kind of like awkwardly now on like bipedal. I'm bipedal now, and it's not normal for me. So then I just kind of like awkwardly like fumble with the handle of the door. That's your stupid handle. And then I just kind of come back into the room. And because I had such a hard time with the first door, I'm just putting it through the doggy door. And I'm like, Branwen, I made it.
Yeah, I see that. Branwen helps you with the box that you just made. Takes it from you.
And then I'm going to take the vial, not letting it out, but putting it inside the new box. So it's a vial inside of a box, and then I seal it.
Yep. You seal it shut, and you see the thing just kind of like is like huddled in the middle of its like original container, as it is not happy where it is right now.
Do you have radiant weapons?
Hey, Alec. Do we have radiant weapons?
You, in particular, do not.
I am the weapon.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, like, you are the weapon.
Yeah.
Would I be able to use my workshop feat to take a blade of hers and fuse it with radiant energy as a workshop feat?
You would. I'm not sure. It's something you could like basically investigate your workshop and see if there's something in there, because like you would need a source of radiant energy. You would need something that has access to that type of like magic. So if there's anybody amongst the crew that has access to it, they can help you, and then you can use the workshop feat to do it. But I don't know if you guys just had like a radiant battery essentially in the laboratory.
So since Branwen is a weapon, if she gave her life to the Lord and Savior, would she then become radiant?
That is actually a good point that I actually do want to bring up and ask about. Not giving my life. We just
A
started.
baptism.
I like my life, but I do have magical force. I am
Yes.
magic.
You are magic.
Is it something where I could use and channel that magical force?
You'd have to try, because your magic originates in the Fae.
Right. True.
When this is holy, this is godly.
Nah.
Basically that's what you have found out, Els, is that like that's how the majority of the population cured the infection, was through essentially the infusion of radiant energy into
Vaccines.
essentially it was like a radiant vaccine. With basically they infused the radiant energy with basically a bit of the infection from one of the prime entities, because they were basically like almost like generals of the collective, and so they had to basically take material from that dead general and then infuse it with radiant energy to then cure the infection.
Interesting. This makes me wonder why we didn't bring a cleric, or someone that has lots of radiant energy. I guess it's not technically very common.
Not these days. These days, gods, paladins, clerics are rare.
Branwen, I think that we should tell the team before we head out to the mall that it is crucial they have radiant or heat fire weaponry. We are a team. We must arm each other with knowledge.
You're absolutely right, Els. We should do that. What time is it?
It's now way into the evening.
Okay. So I would assume everybody's asleep.
I woke you up by accident.
Yeah.
You're not sure, Alec is not sure, because I haven't gotten to everybody. So I don't know who's awake. It's probably around like 1, 2 in the morning now at this point.
Oh, no, too early. I'm gonna circle back around 7 like a reasonable person. So.
Should I go tell them now?
I think we should wait until the morning. We have it contained for now. We're gonna let people get a good night's sleep so no one's delirious when we actually have to deal with the actual threat. If you can, I would encourage you to go to sleep. We're going to need all of the strength that we have when we get there. All of our faculties. Does that make sense?
And I think Els is going to like put it securely on the ground, like not even on a blanket where it could tip over. She puts it on the ground and then wraps blankets around it, but she still has like a window to see it. But she's like, nothing crushes it, nothing touches it. And she just kind of like curls up with a squishmallow and she just kind of like peers at it until she falls asleep.
Got it. Branwen, you're going back to sleep as well? Or you got stuff you want to do?
You know what? I believe, truthfully, that Branwen does not want to leave Els in here with that thing alone.
Mm-hmm.
So she is gonna go to sleep, but she's going to sleep with one eye open.
Got it. Sleeping with one eye open. Okay, so we're CB or Luke, is there anything the two of you want to do?
Yeah, but something I enjoy about TTRPGs is really harping and strengthening the idea of the collaboration. So I'm going to allow you to do something for me, DM, GM, Game Master, as my figuratively dark side, if you will. I have poor impulse control.
Yes.
I would like you to roll a d6. On odds, I am focusing on the now. On evens, I'm focusing on the future. But I am awake.
It's an odd.
I'm focusing on the now. I am awake, wide awake. I am also half elven, so I don't sleep.
You don't sleep all that much, yeah.
Not really. I rest, I meditate, I recoup, but I don't really go to sleep unless I really need to sleep, which my magic tends to make me sleepy. But I am currently sitting with my legs crossed on the floor of my cabin. I have a bunch of almost opalescent crystals kind of scattered around me. There is a cat. No, there is a silence in this moment as he's just focusing, and you can almost feel the ripples of the weave almost becoming reality itself, unmaking itself, making itself, trying to fit and become something that he is willing. His mind doesn't know where to settle. The power within him doesn't know where to settle until it does settle. And as he opens his eyes, again, those fractals are there. I'm going to use magic. And I am intending, because I love that they give you a specific effects, and I was choosing one or another. Mm-hmm. Instead of observing the maw right now to see what might be there or the area, I can't shake the shadows that I know exist in this cabin, in this ship, in this space. And I know that my visions don't tend to be wrong. Even if they aren't right, they don't tend to be wrong. So I know something's going to happen. And I would like to protect myself and thus protecting the team. I am going to attempt to bar a place or portal to a specific type of person or creature. I'm attempting to bar whatever shadowy entity away from the ship. Don't allow it access.
Okay. Roll me plus weird.
I'm going to use my 1.
Okay.
$11.
So on a 10 plus, the magic works without issues. So you focus on the fear because you don't know what this thing was, what that shadow is. And you tell me, what does this bar or this portal, or what does this do? What do you do to create this kind of ward against the shadow?
I feel like the truth of the matter is this thing could be inside. He doesn't know. And he's not a being of light, so it's not about illuminating the space. But I do feel like there's almost like from the clouds and the wind and the ether that is around us, everything is magic in some way, shape, or form. Everything was created and came into being. So he's latching onto those pinpoints in the space around the ship and almost creating a fractal blanket around the ship. That if you you look at a shattered glass and it looks different from every angle. If you think about like in movies, the invisible jet, when you look, you can still tell that something's there, but not really. That's the vibe starting to come over the ship, formed from the raw weave itself, as he's attempting to create this cage, this ward, so that nothing can get in. Nothing of that shadowy essence, even though he doesn't really know what it is, nothing of what he remembers can permeate. Or if it can, there's a problem because it's a lot stronger. So that is what he is focusing on.
So you feel the barrier take hold around the ship. And there's a sense of calm that you know, whatever you did will be helpful in protecting the ship from whatever it was. But what you do know as a user of magic is when you cast in generalizations, sometimes there's loopholes. So you feel better and more protected than you did before, but there's still that anxiety that, just like, speaking to a genie or trying to teleport to a place that you have an idea of, there's always, if you are not specific, there's room for loopholes.
He doesn't know the specifics. He is doing what he can.
Right.
With what he does know.
Exactly. And you did succeed at it. There is a protective ward now around the ship.
I'm going to quickly roll 1, 2, 3, a D4.
Okay.
Actually, going to be a D3 L's. This is a part of this. Okay. As that's done, for an added oomph, he looks down at the sigil, the pentagram, or whatever he made out of these crystals and the arcane ley lines, and what he knows, he can see that one of the crystals is cracked, which to him tells him that it's worked, but something might be off still. That uncertainty, like you said. He takes that crystal and holds it and looks at the time, knows what time it is. But this is pressing. He leaves his room and goes to find Creg's room.
Okay. So the first thing you notice about the door to Creg's room and Creg's room in general, as you're approaching the space, is it is bigger than everyone else's. It is nice.
Of course.
Just even the door is nicer than everyone else's.
Mahogany.
Mahogany. As you arrive at the door to Creg's room.
Okay. Of course. He will take note of that. He's not one for. He has opulence, but he doesn't need opulence. That's not his goal. Opulence. But he will simply just kind of wait.
There's no answer.
Can I hear through the door if he's sleeping?
I mean, yeah. How thick are these doors? If there's
it's a mahogany door, so it's nice.
It's mahogany.
So I mean, are you a snorer, or are you asleep, or just not answering, or you want to keep that a mystery?
Well, I mean, we could just speed it up and say he's not in his room, so you wouldn't hear anything.
Well, that's what I need to know. Okay.
So you hear nothing.
You hear nothing.
If I don't hear anything, I don't get a semblance of a cycle. I'm pretty intelligent. I would guess that either he doesn't sleep, but then I would still hear something, or he's not there. So realizing one of the two, he will just start to wander the space, hoping to run into him, but also not looking. If he's not in this room, then he's probably busy, but he's going to start to look regardless.
Okay. Yeah. Kreg, where are you?
Outside on the deck.
On the deck?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you doing?
Watching. Looking forward towards the mall. In just this silent introspection.
Okay. Roll me 2d6 plus sharp.
Cool.
It's 3.
3. Mark me in experience.
Oh boy. Cool.
As you're staring at the maw, just something just feels like you need to go there. Like you need to be there sooner than this ship can take you. And you just feel this draw as you're staring off in the distance, but the hole is massive enough that it is visible. And the snow and the snowy mountains around it, even under the sunlight, just kind of like brighten the space. And because there's just such a pit of darkness on the land. And it just calls to you.
Is there anyone else on the deck right now?
Presently, no. You're on one of the kind of like the passenger decks, where it's just kind of like basically off to the side to the sails, with the bridge and everything is above. So presently nobody's alongside you.
Okay. Can I? It's gonna be something I'm bad at.
Okay.
I want to try and use magic to do something that's beyond human limitation, to add wind to the sails. I want to use magic.
Okay. Roll 2d6 plus weird.
Okay, Avatar.
Funnily enough, that's a -1 for me. Okay, it's a 7.
Okay. So you pull on this power that you probably haven't used in a minute, in some time. And you command the winds to blow a little bit harder, and you feel the ship just kind of jaunt forward just a little bit faster. The engines kind of whir more. And then, like it, for that moment, you're like, oh, this is how I did this. And then there's that snap. That line that you have not been able to cross since it happened. And I need you to take 1 harm, please.
Figured.
As you push to a limit that you cannot cross anymore.
As I'm trying to do it, my eyes glow faintly. Just very, very faintly. If it was dark, you could see it very clearly. And when it fails, my eyes start to bleed a little bit.
Okay.
And I just kind of wipe it away. Fine. And I just continue staring, waiting impatiently as we're moving too slow.
Okay. CB, give me an investigate a mystery. Just like 2d6. To see if you will eventually find your way to Kreg before you get tired.
What is tired?
While you roll, I'm gonna find my dice that I dropped under my desk.
That is 9.
9. Okay, 1 second. Found it. Found it. Okay, so a 9. You eventually make your way to basically the passenger deck, where Kreg is just staring off into the distance.
The hard part about being a note taker is not taking notes when you're doing things. I think for a moment he's just kind of curious to know why he's just watching and standing, but he doesn't know this individual other than he likes money. But he is. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick, this is gonna be kind of funny, but can I, DM, if this is cool with you, but can I have him roll and investigate a mystery to see if he knows something about Kreg?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck it. Do it. Sounds fun.
What is math? That's actually a 12.
Made up.
12.
I have a +1 to show.
Right. So as you're standing there watching Kreg, this is something you notice right away, is that one, he's not wearing a jacket and it's cold. It's very cold out, so he's not wearing a jacket. And also, unlike anyone else who would be out in the cold, there's no like steam coming off his breath when he breathes out.
Oh. That's Okay. CB will jot that down. As will Nico.
CB will remember this.
CB will remember this. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely a moment where he kind of just stops and waits for a moment before he kind of steps closer. Are you restless?
He straightens up and turns to face you. I find myself unable to sleep these days. How can I help you, Doctor?
You can tell that he's like not taken off guard, but just kind of contemplative for a moment. You have an interest in your bank's investment.
Yes.
But I trust that. And he kind of like steps forward and kind of starts to look out on this deck, looking out in the world, seeing them all. I trust that that means that you care to see that those going to protect this investment are safe.
Doctor, I will be plain with you. I wish to see that everyone remains safe and taken care of. The bank I represent does not care, and I will be forward with that, and so as to lay all my cards on the table. My employer will only see fit that I return with good news about his investment. If any of you perish in the process, so be it. I promise you, not as a representative of the bank, that I will do what I can to aid and protect and see to that everyone here is taken care of. You have my word.
DM, I can send you something.
Yes.
Okay. He's listening to that. I'm familiar with the bank, your bank specifically. Those I'm associated with do quite a lot of business together. So I am aware of the lack of care on their part, I guess. But that doesn't concern me. And your personal motives aren't a concern. I just wanted to know before I told you that I am not just a scientist. I am not just a doctor. The weave is a fickle beast. Those who have the aptitude to will the weave into what they need, those are the magicians, the wizards, the sorcerers. But sometimes you can't control. Sometimes you just access and hope for the right outcome. My connection to the weave is purer than most. Some are illusionists, some are evocative, some even dabble in necromantic arts, all subsects of what we know as magic. I harness it in its rawest, most potential form. and some of the things I do and some of the things I see can be alarming. I say this because I am worried about what I have seen upon this ship. An invisible or unknown threat. And he like holds the cracked crystal out. And even that opalescence has like a deep, almost like smoky charcoal form inside of it. Almost a manifestation of what he has seen. I just wanted to make sure you weren't that beast.
I appreciate your efforts in taking care and making sure everyone here is who they say they are, and no one seeks ill will on this journey. I am not that beast. I know little of the weave. And so I am glad that you are taking such measures. I hope I can assist in any way I can. But I promise you, I am not your enemy.
He finally turns and looks to Kreg. I have no reason not to believe you. Nor do I believe we all, as a famous bardic song says, all in this together. But I am not just a scientist. And I can and will do what needs to be done to make sure that our mission, yours as well, is met. I just want to make sure that my focus doesn't have to go on you.
I understand. And I appreciate you seeking to aid me in my mission, as I will aid you in yours. But I must ask, as someone who is familiar with the weave, you must know of strengthening spells, magics, something that would allow one to perhaps grow a connection or reconnect with the weave.
To my knowledge, there are rituals, there are ways to share the burden, share the load, enhance through transmutation or like a gift, bestowing some of what one can do to another. There are different things that could be done, yes.
Fascinating. Such a strange study. Beautiful in its own way.
Well, that is true. However, I will leave you to it, and if you have any interest in the arcane, I can help.
Thank you. I'm certain to call you upon in that matter.
I'm going to begin to turn, but as I do, I just say two more things. Just, if you are not this unseen problem, then keep your eyes peeled. Something is pressing. That is something I am certain of. Also, I am a doctor. And if you aren't feeling well, let me know. I couldn't help but notice that perhaps you have a shortness of breath.
Oh, no, thank you. I'm perfectly all right. You mentioned that, and you start to see his breath again.
Unfortunately, I'm turned away.
All right.
And I will continue walking on.
So you go back to your room?
I'll go back to my room.
Okay. Kreg, you staying on the ship? It's staying on the nose of the ship all night?
Stay on the what?
I stay for a good while, just inexplicably drawn to the mall, but realizing there's nothing, staying around will not help anything. Eventually, I do go back to my room, but
give me, while you're still out there, give me one more 2d6 plus sharp, please. 8. So as the ship is kind of above the clouds and you can see the break where the maw is, you're just kind of, you break eye contact with the maw for a second. You turn to your right and you see for a moment off to the side, like what looked like a fin cutting through the clouds. And then you see as it got close to the ship, you see it suddenly went and then went back into the clouds.
I want to find the captain.
So you go up to the bridge where Captain Marius is basically sitting in his captain's chair with essentially the 2 arcane orbs that are used to, drive the ship. What have you. See a couple of his crew sitting at their consoles. And he goes, "Good evening. You're up late?"
Yes, I was just having a nice late night breather. I believe there's something in the clouds. I believe we're being followed by a creature of some sort.
We haven't picked up anything on our scanners, but we'll check it again and keep our eyes out. So things get a little... Yes?
It had a large fin. And
a fin?
Looked, for all purposes, like, I'd say a shark fin, though larger.
A shark fin? All right, well, we'll keep our eyes out. Things get a little, best way to put it, funky when you get close to the maw. Instruments begin to go haywire. A lot of scary sounds and things like that. I'm surprised this is the first problem we're having, being this close. But we will keep our eyes out, see if there's anything out there.
Please do.
And you see he begins to order his crew to begin to kind of basically cast spells to kind of detect things, to check the radar instruments and stuff like that, to keep an eye out for something.
Good. Thank you, Captain.
Of course.
I appreciate all the hard work that you and your crew are doing.
Of course. I mean, we, what they say about cats and curiosity, but, I'm interested in finding out what's going on down in that hole myself.
Well, unlike the cat, I hope we live through this.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. You have yourselves a good night, Kreg.
Thank you. You as well, Captain. And I am not going back to my cabin.
Where are you going now, Kreg?
I'm going... Is there like a crow's nest equivalent on this ship? Or is it kind of more like a...
You could attempt to climb one of the solar sails if you want.
I just kind of want to get to the highest point that's feasibly climbable.
Okay. Yeah, you can get to essentially there's a ladder that goes above the bridge, and so you can stand on top of the bridge.
All right. I'm going to stay there, and I want to continue watching for that same fin.
Got it. So you do not see it the rest of the evening.
Okay.
You do not see it the rest of the evening.
Is our ship kind of like the treasure planet kind of solar sails?
Yeah, very much so.
Freaking awesome. Okay, cool.
Solid fucking reference.
Nice.
As the sun begins to rise, you all begin to wake up in your different capacities, and you all hear, even if you weren't awake yet, you would be by a announcement over the loudspeaker as the captain basically uses the intercom and goes, "All right, we're coming in for a landing. A lot of our instruments here are kind of going haywire, and so the landing may be rough. I would recommend making your way to the main cabin and strapping in, because this is going to be probably a bumpy landing, as we are flying without a lot of our instruments right now."
Els unwraps the box and takes it with her, and she's going to kind of maybe shuffle Bronwyn awake in case she isn't, and just kind of like scurry out.
Bronwyn collects any important things that she may need before leaving the room, just in case, and then quickly follows Els out.
Okay. What about the rest of you?
I move down from my place up overboard the bridge and make my way down to the main cabin.
Yep. Nico and Mal.
Mal's gonna take out papers from that one file, and he's gonna take them with. He's gonna just stuff them in his coat pocket and take an extra clip and pocket the pistol in his waistband and start heading off.
Okay, you head to the main cabin. Got it. And Nico.
Yeah, Nico. Make sure he has any essentials for his own research, or anything, just to make sure to get off. He does have his stun gun with him.
You will all have time to get your gear, by the way. This is just because you're coming in for a rough landing. He wants you to strap in.
He has his stun gun. So
got it.
He at least has his stun gun, but he'll come down to make sure that he's ready to buckle up.
So you all basically strap into these seats that are along the walls. There's essentially like 5 and 5. And then there's another set of 3 seats as you see some of the crew, the like non-essential crew, come and strap themselves in as well, as you all kind of basically seatbelt yourselves in. Els, do you seatbelt in an empty seat?
Oh no, it is in my lap. I think what I do is that I wrap it in like a scarf of mine, and I like seatbelt it to me. And I'm just like holding it and like almost like I think I have my legs up as well. I'm an egg around this thing, seatbelted, and I'm just holding it. Just like this thing is worth more than my life right now.
Oh, all right. As the ship begins to make its descent, you can feel the ship kind of tremble as it's passing down through the clouds. You can feel it. It's descending faster than it should be as you're heading down. And you hear over the radio is like, brace for impact. We're going to do our best, but it's not going to be a pretty landing. Something's going on with our systems. Things are failing. Yes, CB.
Based on the incident in the mess hall, based on what they understand this specimen to be, based on the importance of this item. Doesn't know this new box. This is new, but he trusts that Els probably did a thing. Because of now the worry that this won't be easy, and he already knows this won't be easy, I think he's going to start muttering under his breath. And you can even see, like, as he's speaking, almost like that fractal type of essence is like slowly flowing out. And as it does, it's going to almost start wrapping a chain around the box. I would like to lock it in stasis so it doesn't get shuffled as much.
Got it.
If something goes
you
wrong.
go use magic for me.
He is worried, y'all. He is Charlie Day with the fingers. He is not having a good time. That's actually not bad. I got a 8. It's not the best,
8.
but
so you feel you see the stasis kind of like locks in place, and something somewhere.
I'm sorry, that's a 9. Same difference.
It's a 9. So you see the box kind of locks in place. Yes, Luke.
I would like to help.
How are you going to do that?
I can see what he's doing.
Yeah.
And knowing what he is, I want to see if I can help by tapping into the energy that he is already producing.
All right, give me help out.
All right.
Ooh, a worm.
Okay, it's an 8.
An 8. So you see the lock like on the box stays in place, no glitch because you get +1 to your roll, CB, because of what Luke did. And Luke, as you kind of subtly do this, you once again feel that twinge in your head. And CB, just for a moment, for a brief second, you got, you are the oh God, everyone's glitched for a second. Oh no, is it me? Is it me? Oh no. Hello? Can you all hear me still?
Yeah, I see everyone moving. Absolutely.
Okay, so as you help, you see for a brief moment as the weave is made up of tethers and strands that lead back to the source. You see for a briefest moment one strand leading straight to Kreg, and then it's gone. Els, what do you want to do?
So they can both see the arcane magic. Am I able to see the lock spell?
So you see it for a moment, like you see like kind of these like fractal chains kind of wrapping around it, and then the chains kind of vanish and you feel the box lock in place. As magic is, yes, as you all can see, magic is a thing in this world, right? But it lasts for a moment. You didn't see that strand that I described for Nico, but you saw the chains wrap around the box and the box kind of in place.
Can I really quick intersect?
Sure.
I want to stress that, I mean, not that Nico's special, but I won't say most magic looks the same. Most of magic is made in different ways or accessed in different ways, but tend to be the same vibe. Like if it's illusory or if it's, fiery or whatever. Fractal, glitchy type of magic, that's not normal.
Correct.
So yeah, but everything you've seen him do has been very fractal and kind of broken and almost like shard-like. So you definitely saw that shard form into like a chain that wrapped around the box and then kind of gets like. Phew.
So a question for Nicolai: has Els seen you do fractal magic before?
I think, but like in the mess hall, like you noticed that when I was looking into the thing, great. You would have saw like the fractals in their eyes. You probably see me do like, for lack of a better word, prestidigitation type of magic, simple magic in ways to like open a door or stuff like that. But everything has had this touch of like this broken shard glass,
great,
like stained glass type of vibe. Yeah.
Fantastic. So what I would like to do is investigate a mystery as I see Kreg flinch.
Yeah.
Because after he helped, there was a twinge.
Yeah.
You definitely would have seen him do this motion.
Okay. Well, I didn't do well. Plus sharp. That's again a 5.
You were just kind of taken aback by how the box is kind of now locked in place. and you're almost now hanging midair in a way because the box is just kind of in place. So you're seatbelted in, but instead of it being like, resting on the seat, it's now just in midair.
I think now I'm I'm worried that it's trying to get away from me, so I put my hand on top of it to keep it from moving, and then I realize it's locked in place.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Do I get experience, or is that not enough of a fail?
Not yet.
Ow.
I've been very frugal. I've been very frugal with it, but not yet. As the ship rumbles, as you head down, was there something you wanted to say, Kreg?
Yeah, I was just thinking of harm after, because I got the harm earlier in the night. Would I have recovered that one harm? Cool. Just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
As the ship rocks downwards, you can hear the winds howling outside. As the ship begins to almost slow down, you can feel it as you're shaking in your seatbelts, and then there's kind of like a boo, 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 as you're all kind of rocking in your seats. As the captain comes back over the intercom and goes, "Well, it wasn't pretty, but we're on the ground. We're gonna have to send people out to take a look at the engines, but we're saddled nice and close right up next to that gaping hole over there." And you hear him go, "Oh, is that what's left of the research station? Oh boy. Well, we're here if y'all want to saddle up and get ready to go investigate, and it's going to take us a bit or two to take a look at what's wrong with the ship."
Clarification.
Yeah.
Maw is a gaping hole.
Yes.
This is a separate gaping hole?
No, he meant the maw. He was talking about the maw.
Making sure. Okay, flip it and reverse it. We back.
Yep. And then he goes, "Well, we're here, so might as well get your things, get your gear, and head on out whenever you're ready. We're going to be attempting to get this ship running again." Yes, Els.
Before we all head out, I know that Els does want to make an announcement, so if anyone has anything they want to do first, I think she'll be last. Great. Okay. So I'm guessing that we kind of have all of our stuff, and we're kind of getting our rucksacks and everything ready. So then little Els kind of scrambles to the door where it's about to open. I'm guessing it's kind of like an army thing, where it's a giant door.
Yes.
It becomes like a decline.
Yes.
She just kind of looks to Branwen and just kind of nods about the box, and she says,
"Everyone, I made a brilliant discovery last night. This specimen is weak against heat and divinity, divine energy. If you have weaponry that has that, I suggest you bring it." No one? Okay.
Everyone stands in silence.
No taker was no taking. Nico will note that in his own notes. And you'll even see him and if I need to roll for it, I will. But just petty magic. He kind of gets draws in the air for a moment, and you see that fractal almost become red. He hot. As he produces a small flame. Just notate. Noted. Thank you.
Before we leave, Money Man.
I love that so much.
It is intriguing. That tattoo on your neck. It almost looks like an infection. Perhaps we should treat it before we leave.
And I want to try to convince and manipulate Person
To look at his tattoo?
to look closely at it while I'm holding the specimen.
Go ahead and give me convince someone. So roll plus charm.
12.
And
12. 12. 12.
A 9. So it's now up to you, Luke. If you do what they ask, you get to mark an experience.
Okay. I promise you it is not an infection. But if you must. I actually get down, so I'm on closer to Elle's level. So I kind of get down to one knee, and I pull back my collar. And you see it kind of goes down into like around the chest. And you can see it is purely a tattoo, but I do let you look at it. It doesn't look like a normal tattoo, but it is definitely not something that is like unnatural, you would say.
So you hold the specimen up to it, yeah?
I don't. He's close to me, and I have the specimen in my hand. So if he's leaning down for me to peek under his collar, and I have the specimen like under my armpit right here, it's relatively close to him.
It doesn't react at all, besides for the fact that it's like constantly uncomfortable for being in this radiant box.
That's unfortunate. You see, I've read a book about neuroparasitology. Ever heard of it? The research was a study conducted when researching the collective. It is a notion that when a host is introduced to a parasite for a prolonged period of time, it's going to have a long-lasting effects on the nervous system, and thus particular behaviors. You look restless, Sir Moneyman. That is a known and common symptom, should you know.
And I would like to use my lore library for a +1 on investigate a mystery.
Cool. What are you investigating? Him?
The tattoo by itself, if it's not reacting to this.
Well, so go ahead and roll investigate a mystery for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I have something that will kind of help. Perhaps.
8 + 2, 10.
So that's really good. What I will give you before you ask questions of him is the fact that the specimen is
8
under
+ 3, 11, but that's okay.
11. Damn. That the specimen is under constant, basically like like stimulation, like from the radiant cell. Anything outside of it probably will have no effect on it whatsoever, because it's so like trying to get away from the radiance that it's surrounded by at all times.
Get out of this. This is how it stays safe. My apologies for dabbling in personal affairs. I'm still learning boundaries.
That is
And she just kind of backs away and starts like getting like her rucksack ready.
So you all gather your gear, your snow gear and your backpacks, and your weaponry, whatever you need, to head out into the cold, to head to the research facility. The ramp door opens, and immediately you're all hit with the icy wind of this place as it rolls up inside of the ship, and you all begin to walk down the ramp. And, from the sky, you all saw the maw. From rumors, from stories you've heard. But this thing is massive. It is miles long and miles wide. And it's what unnerves you probably the most, besides from the silence beyond the whipping winds, is there's a obscuring mist above basically the top of the maw. But still, you feel like it's calling to you, all of you. You like there's something about it that just unnerves you. And then you see off to the left, in front of the ship, is the research station, and you see exactly what the captain was talking about. you see what looks like half the station is collapsed into the maw, because the station was positioned right on the edge, and it looks like half of it has been collapsed down into the maw. It's a fairly large research station, but I will leave it to you all. Where are you going to go first? Are you going to attempt to, because you would all know that the research team did build scaffolding and things to go down into the maw, so you have you have that capability when you decide you want to descend. Do you want to start with the research station, or do you want to start with the maw?
Personally, as for me, when Mal sees that, he picks up his pace and starts heading towards the research center. Disregarding kind of the group and kind of straying a little bit ahead of them.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, one, Nico sees that, but two, his thoughts were also, let's look on the outside perimeter, including the research station, before we go into the literal depths of Tartarus. So he's also going to pick up his pace now to attempt to match and meet Mal. So Mal, even if he's not right there by him, Mal's going to feel a presence of someone's coming up.
Yeah, a few paces behind me.
You know.
Yeah, I definitely. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, I definitely think I hear the crunching of the snow picking up behind me from Nico, and I definitely keep an eye on you and try to slow for you to catch up a little bit.
Okay. Els, you had something?
Yeah, I think Els is just taking up the rear for like 3 reasons. One, she's tiny, and I'm pretty sure the snow is up to her like hips. Yeah. Everyone else is like trudging through, but she's actually trying to like get through it. Second, she has like this little tally tracker that she's clicking with every step she takes, so that she can track how many steps into the maw she's gone. So you just hear click, 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 click as she keeps going.
Are you taking the box with you? Are you carrying this glass radiant box with you, or are you leaving it on the ship? I do got to confirm that before we move any further.
I think I actually talked to Branwen before I do that.
Take it or leave it.
I say we take it with us.
Great, I wanted to.
Now she goes.
Okay.
Hey, Els. Give the box to me and get on my back.
The eye roll. The fucking.
I'm just so.
You would do that?
The snow is really high. You're gonna hold us back. Please, get on my back.
In her mind, she goes, +2 trust. she gets on your back, and it isn't like a piggyback though. She has her hands around your shoulders, but then she has like her like feet like on your hips, so it doesn't hurt your lower back. It's almost like she has it like on your hips to make sure she's as she doesn't impose on you. She's strategically ready to like jump or like maneuver you if anything happens. She's strategically on your back, and still, but you're gonna hear the click, 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 click as you walk. I'm sorry. That is valid.
Perfect. So then y'all coming up the rear. Kreg, where are you?
Well, I was gonna say, I linger looking into the maw.
Mm-hmm. Are you going with the group, or are you staying?
I'm going with the group, but I definitely am falling behind a little bit as I stop and look in and just. Perhaps you'll have my answers. And I turn and keep walking.
Okay. As you all approach the research station, the bitter cold of this place bites at your skin, and the wind whips. And there's just that sense of something wrong that you all got from when you got on the ship to begin this journey. The station stands, by itself. It was one singular building. And it's clear that it basically nature has begun to take over again. As you see, basically it has begun to get filled with ice and snow, at least in the parts that are collapsed. And are you guys trying to find a door, or are you going to go through like the collapsed part to try to get in that way?
What's most easily accessible? Like, do we see a clear door, or do we see a gaping hole first?
So essentially you see the station, like basically a third of the station has been collapsed in to the maw.
Okay.
So you could walk around the building to just punch my mic. You could walk around the building to try to find a door. Presently on this side, the facing that you're approaching, there is no door.
Branwen, I think we should try to find a door. We should stay as far away from the cliff as possible. It looks as though it's expanding.
I agree with you. And Brahman's gonna relay this to the rest of the party. She's gonna kind of hike up her pace a little bit to catch up with everybody else. And she pays really close attention to whatever Mal is doing, because I assume at this point, with his eagerness, he's kind of leading the charge.
Yeah, I'd say Mal's in the front. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and at this point, with us approaching, I figure within 100 yards at this point from the building itself. I've unholstered my pistol and kept it at my side. I'm not hiding it from anybody. I'm not brandishing it, but I'm ready in case anything pops off.
Right.
At that point in time, and I agree with everybody. Yeah, let's go around and find a door. An entry point would be better than this collapsed wreckage. So I regard Branwen, by the way, which is the first time that I've seen her. I was not seen her, but like conversed with her. But it's you're the muscle, but I can take point since you've got a lot on your back, literally.
Mm-hmm.
I weigh like 70 pounds.
I look at the cube and I'm like,
Kreg, did you have something?
I know they're looking for the door, and from the back, I want to see if there's something we haven't seen yet. If it's just because it collapsed into the mall, or if there's something that made it collapse into the mall.
Yeah.
I want to. So
Go ahead and give me
an
investigative. Read about its situation. Yeah, do read a bit of situation.
Yeah. Six.
So what I'll give you is I'm going to just kind of give you a generalization, but it looks like from the rubble that, even though part of the station has collapsed in, it looks like it exploded out. So whatever broke this part of the station came from the inside.
Noted.
Yes.
Relay that information.
As you all round the corner and Kreg tells you that there was an explosion at some point inside, you see one of basically the steel bulkhead doors that the station basically had. It had almost like this kind of airlock, essentially. And you see one of them is like partially open, as you see a bit of snow kind of coming out of the entranceway, and you see an arm in between the doors, basically like a purplish frozen arm reaching out the doors, the doors are jammed, like open just about this much with the arm through. And anyone can give me a read a bad situation.
Yes.
That is Nor.
That's a 10 for me.
10.
That is an 8 for me.
8 for you.
Do you need one from everyone?
If you want to roll, you can roll.
I don't know if this would apply using a move.
Maybe.
It's called what could go wrong. Whenever you charge into immediate danger without hedging your bets, hold 2, and then you may spend your hold to do certain things.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, you just literally are just charging straight in.
Yeah.
So for those of you who rolled read a bad situation, So you can spend a hold to ask the following question. So Jackie, you have 3. CB, you have 1. So the questions are: what's my best way in? What's my best way out? Are there any dangers we haven't noticed? What's the biggest threat? What's most vulnerable to me? What's the best way to protect the victims, or I would say us?
Are we allowed to, and I mean, this is my first time playing this system. It's like, it almost feels like metagaming, but are we allowed to like be strategic in what questions we ask so we don't overlap?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna.
Well, I guess I don't know if like that's the thing or not. Okay.
And also, like with these kind of more question things, I mean, this is something I did in Masks that we can do here. For all you at home, we're playing pretend. Let's change the rules. If there's a question that you want to ask that isn't on the list, but that still relates to kind of reading a bad situation, please go ahead and ask it. I'm not gonna like scoff at you and be like, no. So
I think I'm gonna jump in with the 1 because Els has more leniency. I'm gonna jump in with the 1, and honestly get it out of the way. What's the best way in?
What's the best way in?
Right.
Is through this door or through the basically the
Okay.
the
Just
hole
want to confirm
on the other
that
side of
seeing
the
a
building?
purplish arm wouldn't be a problem. Or maybe. Even though that's a different question to ask, but I just wanted to confirm.
What I'll give to you is that looks like somebody tried to get out and got stuck.
And got stuck and froze, yeah. It's giving, hypothermia.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll charge. All I want. I was gonna say.
We're gonna do L's questions and then I'll get to your charge. I got you.
Sure.
Okay. So, as Els is analyzing the situation on the back of Branwen, Branwen, you probably feel in your shoulders Els like clench. And for those that can see Els's eyes, her eyes are normally very yellow, but she widens them, and you notice that black starts to leak into her eyes, and they begin to glow as she analyzes this situation. And the first question she would like to ask is, how can I protect my team?
The best way you can protect the team at this present moment in time is to move probably slowly, carefully, and to get inside sooner rather than later.
Okay.
Everyone look alive. Be stealthy, be quiet, be slow, and we must get inside.
The next thing I want to do is ask is, are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
So what I will give you with that one in particular is you feel like you're being watched. As you feel a chill run down your spine as you say, everyone look alive. You don't know where they are. You don't know what it is, but something is watching you.
What is my biggest threat?
And what is your biggest threat? The biggest threat to you at this present moment in time is the fact that you took one step off of that airship. Being here. Like you are as soon as you walked off that ramp, you've put yourself in mortal danger. Being here is your biggest threat.
I'm sure everyone else can feel this. What's better not to learn? Please, hurry.
Now, Mal, you're charging towards the door, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so you get to the door, and it's essentially like it's two steel doors that are like halfway open with this person halfway stuck through. How are you going to get the doors open? Are you just going to try to pry them, or what are you going to do?
What I'm essentially trying to do is less trying to pry the doors open, because I know I'm not going to be able to. If they're bulkhead doors, there's no way that even in his stampede that he knows he's going to be able to prop it open. But if you can get a foot in to anchor at the bottom and try to push on it to get any sort of give, and just to look through to see if I can see the person and see if I can identify them.
So you push your way in. You're beginning to wedge your way in, and you look down at the person, and you look down, and what you see is you see the arm, and you see about this much of the person. There is no head or rest of the body. It's basically rib cage to shoulder to arm. That is there. There's no face. There's no body. There's no nothing.
Mal is definitely taken back by the sight, and he quickly pushes himself away from the door in surprise and in shock. He kind of lands on his ass in the snow.
Mouse, are you okay? Mouse.
I can't formulate words. I'm just staring at the arm, and mine's racing. I'm gone. I'm somewhere else trying to just make sense of what I've gotten myself into.
Okay. Elves, please get off my back. I'm gonna hand this back to you.
And she takes it, and then she jumps, and she's going to scurry over to Mouse and try to like shake him awake.
We have to get inside. We have to get inside.
And I'm going to try to convince him out of the fog.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. Roll plus charm.
I gotta stop doing charm.
You keep doing charm rolls.
You do. You initiate it.
I do. It's a 7.
It's a 7.
Seven.
So, Mouse, you'll be able to mark an experience if you do what they ask.
I think hearing her rapid fire chatter kind of brings me back. I recognize it as something that I've heard in the background, but haven't heard so close to my face yet. Now that I'm down on her level, so I just turn to look at you, and I just lock eyes with you, and I'm like, Els, right?
Yes, Els. Mouse.
Is that? I look around at everybody else, and I stand up, brush myself off. I was not expecting carnage so soon at the beginning of our investigation. I was just hoping, I guess, for someone and not someone's arm. I just need a moment, and I just kind of step back to the back of the group. I'm still present, but I'm just gathering myself and dusting off and anxiously fidgeting with my pistol, just racking one in the chamber and making sure it's clear, and I'm putting it in my waistband again, just breathing.
But it's just early. Stupid not to think.
Branwen, you're heading for the door?
Yeah. Before she does that, she's going to look at one of the party, whichever one she makes eye contact with, and just someone please just go be near him, just in case. I don't trust a skittish person with a gun. And then she's going to get close to the door. I assume see what Mal sees with the arm and only the rest of the torso.
Do you look beyond it into the rest of the hall?
I do, yeah.
So I need you to roll me 2d6 plus tough, please.
Oh, okay. Good thing I got a lot of tough. Oh, yay. Okay. Oh, still bad with the basic math. That's an 11.
So if seeing the arm and the bit of torso knocked Mal on his butt, he's lucky he didn't look up. As you look up down the hall, it is carnage beyond anything you've ever seen before. Something tore through this place with such violent force that you're not sure there's a complete person anywhere in here, as there are frozen bodies everywhere, torn apart, torn asunder. The walls are cracked, basically like cracked open, like something burst out of the walls, the ceilings, the floors. Whatever happened here, whatever came through here from at least this cursory glance, it was devastating.
Branwen's going to step back from the door, and they're going to call Dr. Nicolai over. Doctor. Is there any way you can use any of your magic to see if there's anything living still inside there?
Seeing the arm, firstly, would have looked at Kreg to politely, non-verbally tend to Mal, if possible, if he's not far off doing his own thing in his mind, but will have come over and kind of steels himself for what the possibility might be. I can attempt to, but I also wish to attempt something more.
What did you have in mind?
Looking beyond. I'm going to go to the door, gonna take a breath. Not like a breath to smell what's happening.
I was gonna say, I was like, you take a breath, you roll and plus tough, bro.
But like more of a stealing self type of thing.
Yeah.
And we'll take a look at what is truly there now. As he looks, Branwen, you will see that there's a moment where he's analytical. And then there's a moment he just gazes into nothingness. Like you can see his face and vibe just kind of go into a blank state. And as he does, you'll start to see the fractals coming over his eyes. I'm going to use the sight.
Okay. What does it do?
You can see the invisible, especially spirits and magical influences. I may also communicate with said spirits, and they give more opportunity to spot clues when I investigate a mystery. So I'm looking to investigate with my own eyes and also look beyond. Because if there's a lot of carnage here, a lot of finality happened here. I might be able to get some answers to what happened and to what we might expect.
So you begin to gaze beyond, and everyone knows in this world, in the old world, resurrection used to be a thing, right? But no longer. And so spirits very often get trapped, either on the material plane or in between. And you see, as you gaze into this room full of carnage and death, kind of frozen in this eternal painting of carnage, you see a faint glow kind of develop into a shape, develop into a form, and you see there's a spirit of a person in the corner with their knees held to their chest and just kind of sitting there staring at the ground.
You're going to see as he's studying, you can use your eyes to look around without having to use your body. You can tell that his eyes are almost just going everywhere through the fractal space. Suddenly his entire head shifts over. And he looks towards that spot, that corner where this individual spirit, whatever is. How big is this slit?
It's enough for people to shimmy through. Getting the box through might be complicated, but getting people through, you should be able to.
Focused over for a moment, you'll hear his voice, and it's almost crackly. Like that glitch in itself is almost trying to emanate through. I'm going in. Watch my six. Get the door open so they can follow. I'm going to attempt to shimmy through.
So you're able to kind of wiggle your way in. And as you enter the station, you are hit with the overwhelming smell of decay and rot. The temperature and you're out of the wind, so that's better, but like being in here makes you sick. You see the entire building where you are right now is coated in a thick layer of frost and icicles hanging from the ceiling and the walls and the piles of bodies in the corners and on the floor and on the walls and on the ceiling. Equipment is smashed. Walls are covered in claw marks. And like the old stains of blood across the walls. And you make your way to the spirit, who's just sitting silently with their knees to their chest in the corner.
He's going to focus for a moment and try to let his senses not overwhelm him and just focus on his eyes and his voice. And his ears, clearly. But hey.
And you see he like looks up like sharply and goes, you can see me?
What does he look like?
So he's maybe 20 years old, young, like human male. He's in overalls and like a tan t-shirt. And he's got like work boots on, and he's got a bit of a stubble on his face, and a baseball cap. And he's got brown hair, and his eyes are like the faded gray color. He's like, you can see me?
I can.
Oh, wow. Oh, I've been here by myself for so long. Well, I don't know how long it's really been.
Why are you in a corner?
Well,
What
because
ails you?
I don't want to go out there. It's safer in here with the bodies.
Are you the only one here?
Everyone else tried to leave. And it took them. Took all of them.
He just glances over to the mall.
He just points at it.
What's your name?
I don't remember. This place takes your memories.
What do you remember?
One of the crews who went into the maw didn't report back. I was having dinner, I think, at the time. And then things started to come from the walls and the ceiling. And I tried to run. But something wrapped around my neck, and that's all I remember.
What were you eating?
I think it was meatloaf.
How did it taste?
I think it's good. It was good, I think. Salty. Ketchup helps.
He's wearing overalls.
Yeah.
Does he have a name tag?
So you look at his name tag, and it says... Just pulling it up. It says Piet. So I'll type it out for you. It says Piet, and then you see in parentheses pi was like basically it's like somebody etched in like quotation marks around pi, as if that's kind of what everybody called him.
This is not a safe space, as you know.
Yeah.
I'm here with friends.
You should leave. You shouldn't be here. It's not safe to be here.
I know. I know we shouldn't be here. I know that we should be home. In our baths, eating our meals, sleeping safe.
So you notice as you're talking to him, his eyes shift above your head, and he's like trembling in fear.
I will
And he just points above you.
I don't turn around.
And I need okay, that's how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna really quick before I tell what happens to Nico, we're gonna jump outside. Mal and Kreg, what you doing? Kreg, what are you doing?
I did pop over to check on Mal, as Els is also checking on him. You must make yourself of sterner stuff. There's bound to be far worse things inside.
Mal takes in a deep breath of that cold, cold wind. And I turn to you and I look up at you because you're a bit taller than me. It's like, listen, suit, not everybody looks at others like just numbers. So I'm sorry if I have a little bit of a heart, but I'm fine. I step away and I go over to Els. And Els, are you still on all fours, or are you standing bipedal?
I am. My hands are freezing.
I get down, kind of squat down. I'm like, Els, right? Dr. Els or just Els?
Fortunately, not the doctor.
Well,
He's a lab tech.
Well, that's more of a doctor than I'll ever be. But thank you for snapping me out of it and for just being there to ground me, even if it was just for that second. That's not really the first introduction that I like to have with somebody, but thank you.
Read in sociology that first impressions vary. It is not a bad one.
No, it's not my best performance, but I appreciate you, Els. Thank you. And I stand back up again, brush myself off. If you need any help carrying that thing around, I'd be more than happy to. I travel light, so I've got the spare room for it.
I'm not gonna worry you're gonna faint. Keep a hold of it for me.
The offer always stands. I step up to Branwen real quick. I hold my hands up because I heard what you said about the pistol, and I'm like, I'm calm, I'm fine. I don't make eye contact with the door though. Like I'm still not okay right now looking at it. But I just come up to you. I'm like, I'm fine. I appreciate you taking the charge after that. I guess I was just naive in thinking that I'd find everybody singing Kumbaya and waiting for us to get out of here right off the bat. But I guess the maw never disappoints. So
I'm going to be completely honest with you. Her eyes have not left Dr. Nicolai since he went inside.
So, as you're looking at Dr. Nicolai, you see he looks like he's talking to someone. And he stops talking. And then Mr. Nicolai.
Mr.
Doctor.
Thank you.
You're going to take 2 harm. As you see Nicolai suddenly, you see his body contort for a moment. And Nicolai, you can only see it as you see this large black tentacle has begun to wrap itself around you. And you see, the rest of you see, him just kind of twisting. What do you do?
Hello.
Yeah.
In a split second, you see Branwen just rage. Her eyes turn yellow. Her sclera is yellow. Pupils, the smallest black dot you've ever seen in your entire life. Something about her just expands, and she's suddenly towering over even Kreg. Her claws have extended to such a length that they are monstrous in a way that is inhuman even to the animalistic degree. Her teeth have distended so far over her jaw that she can no longer form sentences coherently. Her hair has grown so large it drags down behind her, and she Hulk opens the doors and starts running towards Dr. Nicolai.
So you round the corner, and you see Nicolai is in pain, and then you look up and you see the ceiling is covered with eyes. You see the ceiling is it's now pitch black, and there's eye after eye after eye after eye after eye after eye after eye. And for you, my raging friend, I need you to roll me a I need you to roll me just 2d6 plus cool.
Is there any chance that I could have used one of my holds to reduce harm suffered by Nicolai?
Unfortunately, no, because you weren't in the room and you didn't even know he was under harm until.
That's true. Okay, that's an 8.
An 8. So you see these eyes and you feel like they're staring through you, and it begins to hurt your head, but you're able to shake it off. Nicolai, what are you doing as you're being wrapped up right now?
Feeling the wrapping, if you will. I feel like it's Christmas. Feeling this pain. He's not some Hulk. He's pretty weak. He is very much the Bruce Banner aspect, right, of Branwen's Hulk. So there's definitely a guttural scream as he takes this pain, but he opens his eyes again and he's watching the spirit. And as he watches, he knows that they've been in a lot of pain already. So it's not time for him to show more pain. That only causes more harm to them. He steels himself as his eyes again are covered with those fractals, and he begins to kind of twist his body to face this creature.
And you see these hundreds of eyes on the ceiling, and you begin to see like limbs pushing down through, like arms covered in darkness pushing their way through the ceiling and out the walls and from the floor.
Unfortunately for you, first of all, he sees Branwen and just okay. But I don't think he can focus on it for a moment because he's so now connected to this creature. Unfortunately for you, I'm not someone you would expect to be here. And I grab the tentacles and I'm going to hex this creature.
Ooh, what do? Tell me.
I need to roll. So I'm going to cast a spell using magic. Things happen as well as more things. Okay. So my intention to use magic is to inflict harm. I'm going to inflict 2 more harm immediately.
Okay, got it.
To this creature.
Okay.
So I have to roll weird.
Yep, roll weird.
Roll weird.
Big money, big money. Double sixes? Double sixes?
Double sixes.
Double sixes, baby.
So that is a 14.
Damn. So you inflict a total
That's
of 4 harm. What does your hex look like?
You see from my hands, though, that fractal disconnect, and suddenly the tentacles itself, again, everything comes from magic, even if we don't want to believe it to be so. At least in him, that's what he believes. Those tentacles start to become fractal like glass, and suddenly the tentacles themselves begin to shatter one by one down the row as it starts to unwrap from him, because it no longer can take hold, because it's physically broken by the raw magic that is inside Nicolai. And you almost hear, as it's breaking, he almost begins to laugh, and it shifts into this guttural as this glass is shattering all around, these tentacles becoming nothing.
As the tentacles shatter away from you, because you rolled better than a 12, I'm going to give you an added benefit. As you see some of the fractal kind of goes along the ceiling, and this mound of eyes now being on the ceiling, you see there's a crack or two around the ceiling, and you see this black mass falls to the floor, and you see it begins to kind of form into this, like, it's no longer hiding. So essentially you pulled it out of its kind of habitat. And so now that you see this tentacle blob of eyes and hands and limbs kind of just standing in place in front of you. So Branwen, I'm going to go to you, and then I'm going to go to my outside friends after that. So Branwen, what do you want to do as you have this massive goo and tentacles and eyes in front of you?
When Branwen is in this form, it's very difficult for her to actually have thoughts. The only thought truly is carnage. So she's going to attack. Now, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
I have my claws, and I also have my magical force.
Mm-hmm.
The way I imagine it is that the magical force is just radiating out of her as she's in this form. So like there's just this, like, you know, the weird part where everyone was like kind of like weird about her earlier, and like something's off.
Right.
The offness is this energy.
Right.
So I feel like it's just kind of around her. So
yeah.
I would like to attack with my claws, and also use the magic that surrounds me to also just go all in on this guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool.
Roll to kick some ass.
I'm going to kick all of the ass. Not that this thing has an ass, but you know.
Maybe in the mound of it somewhere.
Kick it, regardless.
I did not roll well. This is upset of spaghetto. This is
What'd you roll?
What?
What'd you roll?
I rolled a 3, but also wait. It's tough when you kick ass, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's a 5.
So mark experience for me. As you lash your claws into this tentacle mass, you see it wrap around your hand and begin to pull you in.
Oh, son of a beach nut. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna jump outside. So Kreg, Mal, and Els, you begin to hear the cacophony of screams, laughter, growling, smashing. What do you do?
I mean, yeah, go in.
You're all
I was right next to her when she fucking hulked out, so I'm watching her go in.
Yeah.
I think when Branwen does that, Els goes, fascinating, and she like goes after her.
Perfect. So you run in and you round the
she opened the door.
Yeah, she tore the door open. So as you go in, you see bodies everywhere, torn apart, torn asunder. It smells terrible in here. It smells like death. And you see this mass of tentacles and eyes currently beginning to try to swallow Branwen. And you see Nico is facing it down as well. What do you three do?
My team. And she like goes like to the corner by the door to allow people to come through, but she sits down cross-legged, takes her legs and wraps around the box as to not let it go. But she then takes out her bag of juju and whispers in it, and she's like,
Help me
flame of the depths of hell. And she opens it, and she's going to use a precision strike to roll for tough and inflict +2 harm.
Fucking do it. Roll for it.
Oh, worm?
Let's see. Tough. 6 + 3, 8.
8. Perfect. So how much harm did you do?
Let's see. So that would on a 7 through 9, I inflict 1 harm.
1 harm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I aim for a weak spot and I roll for tough. Yeah. 7 through 9 is 1 harm.
What is when you throw the FTO fires of hell? What does it look like?
Oh, wait. Yeah. The juju bag is another harm. So it'd be 2 total.
2 total. Got it. What does your flaming juju bag of hell look like when you throw it?
So it looks like a coin purse, honestly. It's very small and it has like a little red tassel with a little coin on it. And it almost looks like a keepsake. But when she whispers in it, the woven structure of the bag starts to almost transcend and become this infernal pattern, which then coagulates, and then as she opens it, it looks as though it is a projectile of flame, specifically at the tentacle that is trying to latch onto Branwen.
Perfect. As the fire strikes the tentacle, you see the creature kind of hiss as the tentacle kind of burns off onto the ground, and you see it's like wobbling as the tentacle moves back and attempts to rejoin with the rest of it, but you notice it can't.
That's fascinating.
Mal and Kreg, what are you doing, my friends?
After watching Els scamper in, go into a corner, fireball erupting from said corner, I step in the heat. It can't handle heat. Yeah, I step in and I steel myself. Because I see the carnage, but I block it out for a second. Because I can't think about the other people, the people that I'm looking for. Not right now, not this second. I fight it off. I stand in front of Els, because right now she's exposed at that point in time after her fireball. Pull out handgun, draw, and I just aim and shoot.
Okay, roll to kick some ass.
Oh, that's a 9.
A 9.
I lied. I'm sorry. I have a +1. That's a 10.
It's a 10. That's even better. So you get to choose 1 extra effect. You can gain advantage, so you take +1 forward, or you give +1 forward. You can inflict terrible harm, which is an extra harm. You can suffer less harm.
I'm gonna inflict terrible harm. And I'm going to spend a hold to inflict an additional harm.
Luke, is that a thing that can happen? Yes, is that good?
According to my...
because
what could go wrong.
What could go wrong does give you, yeah. So you inflict a total of 3 harm, yes?
My handgun is 2 harm.
Okay, so you inflict a total of 4 harm.
Yeah.
As you see, this bullet goes, and you see one of the massive eyeballs just kind of it pops as the bullet enters the eye and pops it. As the creature screams out in pain. That hurt my throat to do. Not going to do that again. Yeah. That hurt. And Kreg, what are you doing after fireball, bullet? What you got?
So real quick, just want to make note of just a move. It's not a move, it's just an ability. This is the move I talked to you about that I wanted to take.
Yes.
It's Berserker or Berserk.
Mm-hmm.
During a fight, the keeper may not use harm moves on you.
Got it.
And I cannot die.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. There's other effects, but I'll go into that. That's
yep.
you know. Just want to clarify that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking upper class.
I just want to walk in and I want to reach up. So it's no longer on the ceiling, right?
No, it is on the ground in front of Branwen and Nico.
Cool. I just want to go over and I just kind of walk in and I just place a hand on it, and I'm kicking ass just by touching it.
Yeah. Yep, do it.
All right.
That's not going in my notes.
Terrible.
Kreg kicks ass just by touching it.
That is double sixes.
Let's
Plus
go.
2, 14.
Yes.
So what do you want double the normal harm? Drives the enemy away at a route. All hunters get +1 forward. What do you want with a 14?
Want to give all hunters +1 forward. And also I just also need to clarify, this is all monsters have a weakness against my attacks, and this is dealing 2 damage.
Mm-hmm.
It is also messy, as where I touch literally just gets obliterated in just this forceful blast. So all hunters get a +1 forward.
Okay. And how much damage did you do total?
2.
Got it. Okay. All right.
And due to, I do not take the automatic 1 damage that you get from kicking ass.
Right.
Because of other things. Right. I just have a lot going on here.
You got a lot going on. It's got a lot going on.
Going through puberty.
So Kreg, as you touch it, you burst away this part of it, and for a moment, you were connected to something. As you bursted away that part of it, and you now all see this kind of massive writhing tentacles struggling to stay up. So I'm gonna do another round robin. It's not dead quite yet, but it's gonna do something here. As you see the tentacles, it kind of shoots them down into the floor away from itself, and then some tentacles begin to up through the floor towards some of you. So Els, let's see. I'm going to roll really quick. 1 second for the roll. So Els, so you see this tentacle sprout up towards you, and you are going to take 1 harm as it pierces your shoulder, as it comes up like a tentacle and looked like it turned into an icicle essentially as it stabs upwards.
Can I use my last hold to reduce someone's harm suffered by 1 on her?
Yeah, absolutely, because you're right there. How do you help as this tentacle comes throttling towards her?
As it's coming up, I think the only thing I can think to do is just kind of kick the base of it to try to deter it to hit the wall behind her.
Yeah. So Els, you see the tentacle now was heading straight for your shoulder, now slams into the wall next to your head. And then you yourself, because you were helping, don't see it coming, my friend Mal's, as you take 2 harm as another tentacle comes up, stabbing you through your thigh. And now we're going to start back with Nikos. What are you going to do? This thing looks weak, and it just took the opportunity to attack your friends behind you.
Yeah, what he wants to do versus what's going to be more useful, I think. He is also noticing the competency of this group, which is good. Not that he worried about it, but it's just like he's noticing that they are very, whatever the heck Kreg just did. He definitely noticed that. He's going to. Sorry, not trying to take long. He's thinking about what makes the most sense right now.
Thinking? Are you kidding me? Oh my god!
I think what he's going to attempt to do, as these things kind of happen at once. There's not necessarily one after another. As he hears the gunshot and he sees Kreg and he remembers the flying doo-doo back from hell hit this creature, he kind of focuses on that brightness of that flame. The fractals are thrown to this fire and begins to almost grow around this creature, as I intend to trap this monster in a fire cage.
Okay, roll for use magic.
Everything I'm going to be doing is use magic, y'all, just so you know. Roll
plus weird.
And this is technically, in combat, I'm always going to be hexing it because I can use my magic plus the hex. So I'm
damn.
intending to. Oh yeah, this is broken.
Damn.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Taking a picture. There's a picture. So it's either really good or really bad.
It's another 6, double 6.
I can't tell.
I can't
I
tell.
think he's happy.
I think it's 2 1.
I think it's good. I don't know where they're sending it. Are they sending it to the Discord?
Where are they sending
Group
it?
chat?
Oh, it's 2 6s.
Oh my
Atta
god!
You heard the clickety clack. The clickety clack was there.
So
another 14.
So my friend Nikos, how do you want to do this?
I think what happens is that cage begins to form. But as it begins to form, again, and I'll let you run with this as you want, what he accesses is so unfiltered, unperfected, essentially, that sometimes it takes on a mind of its own. And as he creates this cage, he's intending to trap it to let the others do what they need to do. But instead of just trapping it, it begins to constrict, and suddenly it's just burned from the edges as this cage becomes a cube and just singes this thing to death or undeath or whatever it came from.
You see it becomes, as it cracks in on itself, you see it just becomes a burnt husk of ash as it collapses to the ground. And you are all presently free of, you're not in combat at the moment.
Then I fall to a knee because ow. Lots of effort plus 2 harm. Ow.
I walk over. Are you all right?
I am fine. I will be fine. I can tend to my wounds later. Ooh, are you all fine?
Yes, I believe everyone here is all right. Branwen, are you all right? You got grabbed there.
You just see
Oh, that's right.
Bronwyn still in her monster form, just kind of hunched over, breathing heavy. You can see just the kind of like heat that radiates off of her, and she kind of just, I'm fine, thank you, Kreg. And as she comes down from her form, you kind of see her slump a little. I just need a moment. And she goes and she finds a quiet place. Is there a quiet place in this building besides the room full of bodies?
You could begin to wander through the building if you want.
I'm going to do that. Just get somewhere that's not in the room full of bodies.
Got it. Yes, go ahead.
At this moment, At this moment, Els is going to kind of like put a hand on like the knee of Mal's, who admirably protected her during the battle, and she wants to try and help his wound if she can. And she very tentatively is just like,
Thank you for helping me. I will do my best not to be a detriment in the future.
I had slumped like next to you after the battle, when we're doing this, and I look at you for a second, and I'm like, I don't know how you summoned a fireball out of a bag, but Els, I don't think you're gonna be a detriment at all. That was amazing. And you helped me as much as I helped you. So I appreciate you. And as you try to tend to my wound, I kind of just stare off and stare at the carnage that I was trying so hard to avoid earlier. And Mal can't help but just let a tear fall as he just takes it all in and doesn't know what he's looking for anymore.
Els is not used to emotion, so she doesn't know what to do. In the same kind of situation, as you're giving her affirmation, she's almost kind of frozen, like she doesn't know what to say or do, and is almost kind of in a petrified state of, what are you doing?
You're not yelling at me. You aren't telling me. I'm. Let me repay you.
And she just kind of silently just kind of helps bandage you. I don't know if there's any check I have to do for that or not.
To like help bandage.
Yeah, help take away a harm if possible. I don't know if I could do that out of combat. Is it a help out? No.
Go ahead and give me 2d6 plus cool.
Cool, okay. That's a 7.
So you will heal one harm.
Okay.
As
I think
you help bandage the leg.
Yeah, I think I have like a little med kit, so I have like little gauze and wraps, and I kind of help to stop the bleeding a little bit. But then after I kind of do like a weird little bow, and I'm still kind of on all fours, and I do want to try and follow Branwen, just kind of like tailing behind her, giving her space, but just kind of like making sure she's okay. What do you do with the box? Okay. It's still in my arms.
Still in your arms. Got it.
Yes, three-legged crawl. I'm like a gorilla.
Got it. So you follow after Branwen. We're going to get to Branwen in just a moment. Nico and Kreg, what are the two of you doing?
Did it speak? Did you... Nico, did you... In being caught by it, I feel a connection.
You could tell that he was about to look somewhere else for a moment, but then he looks towards you. No, it just attempted to do to me potentially what it did to everyone else. Did it connect to you?
I felt something. I have been feeling something ever since we got on this ship. And ever since we left to come here. The calling. I don't know what it was I felt. There was a connection of some sort.
I don't have theories yet, but harkening back to our conversation on the ship, perhaps we can connect and learn.
Perhaps. I would hate to be unknowingly such a darkness.
Sometimes there are things that guide us that we don't understand, and it's how we use it that determines who we are.
I suppose you're right. With that in mind, would you like any assistance with that? And I motion to the bruised and battered portions of his body.
You don't get a response to that because he can't help but look back over to the corner to see what the spirit's doing.
So you take a look at the spirit, and you see the spirit is now staring like down, like hat down, like this, just like you see this when you look at the spirit.
Does it seem like submissive? Does it seem like trying to avert gaze?
So do you try to call out to him?
I do. I go.
So he looks up at you, and this whole portion of his face is just darkness. as it looks up at you.
What's going on?
He doesn't answer you right away. As you stare into that very inky darkness of where his eyes used to be. And you hear, all are welcome in the collective. And you see the spirit stand up and begin to walk towards the maw.
This changes something I wanted to do.
Nico, do you mind if I intercept really quickly, or did you want to do something?
I'll go for it, but yeah, that's something. It's timely, but go for it, yeah.
Okay. I was going to ask, did I notice him speak out to something in the corner?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty obvious. Yeah.
Okay. I want to pull myself up after being on the ground and hobble over to Nico. And I don't aggressively turn him around or anything, but I kind of put a hand on his shoulder and kind of pull him a little bit so I can see his face. And Mal asks him, do you see somebody?
Who do you look for?
Who did you see?
Who do you look for?
What did they look like? What was their name? Nico, I need you to just answer me. What was their name?
The name tag says Piect. Is this important to you? Are they important to you?
Mal removes his hand from your shoulder and he doesn't answer as he walks down the hall towards where Branwen.
Need to know if they are important to you.
They're important to somebody.
I'm going to attempt to use magic to do one thing that is beyond human limitations.
Which is what?
It was intentionally to make the unseen visible. But now it is to attempt to break the connection from the collective.
Ooh.
So this spirit has a chance.
Go ahead and roll.
Nine.
Alec,
Yes.
would I be able to help? I'm going to just ask real quick. Would I be able to help?
In what way?
With what you know about me.
Mm-hmm.
And given that I have helped Nico do magic, help Nico with their magic already,
Mm-hmm.
could I, like, that I would be able to assist in making this the most successful it can be?
It's going to be successful. But even if you got it up above a 10 or 12, because of what Nico is about to try to shove away from, you're going to put yourself at risk if you do this as well. Because Nikos has opened himself up. So you can, It may improve Nico's chances, but I will leave it up to you. That's kind of meta knowledge that I just handed you, but you may help if you really want to.
I mean, it would be instinct to help in this moment.
All right, give me a help out. Two of you will split the load then.
That
is a 9.
A 9. So that will bring it up to, and that's perfect because you also expose yourself to danger. So it brings it to a 10.
Can I add something?
No. Unless, are you changing what you decided you wanted to do?
Not at all.
Okay.
Because of my move, when I hex, I always am casting a spell. I'm just adding something on top of it.
But is hex your damage spell? Or are you trying to hurt the ghost?
No. That's the thing. That's why I got rid of the other thing, because I realized I didn't need that one, because I can do multiple things with hex. It just adds an extra layer, because anybody can technically use magic, but my class can do more.
Got it.
So it doesn't change anything mechanically.
So what do you want to do?
One of the effects on hex is the target breaks something precious or important. I would like to try to, using what I said, but try to literally break the precious, important connection. Just solidifying it. Hey, I still can get fucked up. I'm just saying.
So you both reach out to try to save this spirit as it walks towards the mall. And you extend your willpower to pull this spirit back. And when you two extend your willpower forward, it is your will compared to what you just touched is a molehill to a mountain. As you shatter the connection, but it feels like a massive eye has now turned to look at you. You can't see it. It's not physical, but it's now staring straight at you. And both of you grip your head as you both take one harm. As it's like 1,000 million voices ring in your head at once. We're not in combat anymore, Kreg.
I still have the armor, though.
Doesn't Berserk only work in combat?
No, that's just my suit. That's just what I got.
So does
the armor
protect
protects me from one harm. You have to deal at least 2 to deal 1 to me.
Cool. Yeah. Sounds good. I'm just gonna have to get meaner because of you, Kreg. Because of you two, I'm gonna have to get mean.
Hold up.
But you two both do get a splitting headache, and I'll say only Nikos gets the harm. So your help out really didn't save Nikos from any hurt. As you see the ghost kind of drops to the ground and is going like this for where their eyes used to be. And I'm going to now jump over to Branwen. When you have found yourself an empty office that is not free from damage, as you see the furniture is kind of thrown asunder, but there are no bodies in here. And before anyone else joins you, I'm going to let you kind of do what you would like to do here in this space, which is...
Branwen is going to use the remnants of her heightened senses to go ahead and, read a bad situation.
Okay.
Sorry, investigate a mystery. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
She's going to try and see if she can use her heightened monster senses. So sight, hearing. Ooh, I like this. I should have just already had my calculator pulled up. Too bad I have dyscalculia and numbers are hard. Okay, and to do that, that's a sharp, right? Okay.
Yes, plus sharp.
Don't have any of that. That is a 9.
A 9. So you can ask one question.
Okay.
What happened here? What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can it hurt? Where did it go? What was it going to do? What is being concealed here?
What is being concealed here?
So, as you know, you're kind of resting in this office and you begin to look around. You see a broken, or not necessarily broken, but iced over crystal that is basically like kind of tossed to the side. And you would recognize this as a common technology these days, as people use crystals often to record messages.
I'm going to pick it up.
So you pick it up and you kind of dust it off. Do you play it?
Yes.
So you play it, and it is the face of a haggard-looking man. He's got dirt and blood all over his face. Shaggy dark hair. He's in like what looks like a kind of sewn together winter coat, and he goes, "They got on the shift change ship somehow, and we took shelter after the ship crashed here in what was left of the station, but they're here too. We gotta go down. There's resources down there somewhere. There's no food in here anymore, so we're going down. If you find this, we went down. I gotta go." And it fizzles out.
Branwen's gonna pocket it. And kind of take a moment to just kind of sit and see if she can heal herself, because she did take 1 harm.
Okay. Roll me 2d6 plus. Cool.
No. Well, actually, no, it's not so bad. It's 7.
7. Heal 1 harm.
Awesome. Cool. I am back.
So you heal yourself, and then scuttling in is Els.
I am not being quiet. No. You actually just kind of hear her scuttling, and then like her like heavy breathing. And you are in the room alone, this office area, but she doesn't enter. She just kind of peeks in on you.
What do you want, Els?
I want to make sure you're okay. It's just not safe here.
It's fine in here. You can come in.
She like opens the door and just still like sits at the doorway. And she just like, she's still holding the box, and she just kind of like looks around a bit and then looks at you, and she says,
When you were first introduced to us as the muscle, I thought that was just arrogance. But that was fucking awesome.
Well, I didn't do much muscling, did I?
Regardless, I think that you are a benefit on this team. And I am thankful that you are here.
I hear you. I think the more important thing is, where did you get that bag?
She pulls out the little trinket.
It is an heirloom for my family. As in Zindia tradition. Heirloom. From the Fae.
Oh. That's really nice. I don't have anything like that.
Heirlooms are passed down by generations. Maybe we can find something for you to pass down to the next. You may not have one now, but we can start one.
I'm going to be honest with you, Els. I don't know if there will be a next generation for me. And she plays the message.
So you see the same image of this haggard, out of breath man covered in mud and blood, and dirt, basically saying that, that they had to go to the maw, that they ran out of supplies up here. They were on the shift change ship. things got onto the ship. It crashed. They tried to like bunk down here, and they ran out of supplies. And so they know there's ships and stuff down there from the other crews. So they went into the maw, is what the message essentially gives you.
See. Well, I am not good at comforting. I'm an analytical data analyst. Odds are slim, but I think that without you, honestly, everyone else on the team, we would have poorer chances. Let the goal be to have another generation.
And she just kind of scuttles out of the room, but she's like still like the doorway crack, and she's like sitting there kind of turned maybe 45 degrees like away, just so that Branwen doesn't feel like she's watching her, but she's definitely like playing lookout for anything else. She's very weary of the surroundings around her.
So you see Mal walking down the hallway. And Mal, as you're walking down the hallway, you see there is a mirror along the wall. And you notice your reflection stops as you're continuing to walk.
I immediately draw my gun and aim at the reflection.
And you look into the reflection as the glass is broken. So as you see, like the basically the fracture goes through the center of its face. As it just looks at you. And give me a read a bad situation.
You son of a bitch. That was a solid 9.
So you get to ask one thing. What's my best way in? What's my best way out? Are there any dangers we haven't noticed? What's the biggest threat? What's most vulnerable?
That's the one. Are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
So you see your reflection points, gesturing to basically the broken half of the building behind you.
I keep my gun trained on the reflection, but I look towards where it points, and I start kind of backing away and heading in that general direction.
So you
do
look.
I have to? You go ahead.
Sorry, you look like basically like out, basically the broken side of the building.
Yeah.
And you see someone standing at the edge of the maw. Someone who looks very familiar. As they wave and fall backwards into the maw. And that's where we're going to stop for tonight, folks. Thank you all so much for joining us for episode 2 of Mysteries of the Maw. This is where the fun begins. I have been your keeper, Game Master Alec the Bard. Thank you so much to Tumidlynx as Kreg. Thank you so much to Sydney Rubino. I'm messing up your username too. Sydney, thank you. As Branwen. Everyone's links is going to be in the description. Thank you so much to CB, CriticalBard as Dr.Nicolai. Thank you so much to Latinos Against Spooky Shit as Mal, and thank you so much to Jackie Elena Chan as Els. I have been your DM, and we will see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.